Hey, it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farms, and today I'm going to try to improve the rear visibility on my skid loader. Now, I ordered this skid loader with the John Deere backup camera, and they didn't have any. And it took me like 4 months after I ordered my machine for it to come in. And after waiting 4 months, they said, your machine's here, but there are no backup cameras available. You can either just continue to wait, or we can give you an aftermarket camera. I said, give me the aftermarket camera, I'm ready to get to work. And so they gave me one, and the John Deere camera is supposed to go right here. My camera is right here. And the way they installed it, you would mainly see the bar. If you had your bucket down, your boom, within a few inches of the ground, all you could see out the backup camera was this bar. I tried to re-aim it, and that didn't help that much. So I'm going to show you what my rear view looks like right now, and then try to remount this in a better place. I think an ideal location would be dead center at the back, but if you put it all the way back here, if you bump into anything, you're going to tear up your camera. So I'm kind of thinking maybe somewhere like right here on the lid, because beyond the fact that this bar moves and obstructs my view, I don't have a good reference. I can't tell how close I am to something. So if you're working in tight quarters, you need to be able to tell if you're about to run into something or not. So this should be helpful to anyone who's buying one of these aftermarket skid steer cameras like I've got, and help you with placement. Okay, it's kind of loud in here, but the top of the screen is here. My image, the first ½ inch of my image is that bar. Now, if I bring it up waist high, then you can see again. But the other thing is, almost half of my screen is just pointing at the back of the loader. And the way they had it previously, they had it pointed up where the first thing you saw was above this lid, but then the whole top half of the screen was right here. Okay, looks like this takes a 11mm. Now you might be wondering why I was okay with taking this lesser camera on a permanent basis. Well, you can never know if someone's just saying it or if they're telling you the truth. But I know this salesman pretty well, and he seems like a straightforward guy. And he told me that this cab cam gives a better image. It's a better camera than the John Deere OEM camera. Now, is that true? I have no idea. But I know that next week I'm going to be at GIE, or it's actually a couple weeks. I'm going to be at GIE, and I'll have a chance to drive one of these, and I'll compare it, see if this camera really is better or if I just got a bad deal. I wasn't sure if this was worth posting because a lot of you aren't going to have the same camera in the same place, but you might be in the market thinking about adding a camera to a skid loader you already have. Or this could be put on a tractor, a mini excavator. It's really for anything. But I thought it might be useful to you for that reason. I've actually wanted to move this ever since I got it, but really didn't think I had a very good option for that, so I wasn't seeing anywhere else good to put it. Then I realized this is all open mesh. Rain already would get in here if I left it out. So even if I added a couple holes on this lid somewhere, it doesn't matter if it's watertight. My other concern was it doesn't look like there's very much extra cable here, but I pulled down the headliner a little bit, and it looks like I might have enough cable to get where I need to. Okay. So just from that, I need to go get an Allen so I could turn this, but it looks like I could get it down here. Now in this spot right here, part of my view would be obstructed by this. I really need to be able to get it up at least even with this to get a good view. And the closer we get to the back, it's like when you pull in a parking lot and if you got a bigger truck, you can't tell how close you actually are because of the visibility over the hood. The closer to the back you are, the better I'm going to be able to tell how much room I have. So I need to go get some Allens for this so I can pivot this down. But I guess before we do that, let's go see how much slack we can get out of this. Okay, so that wire is behind this headliner, which for a minute that was preventing me from messing with it. I didn't want to tear anything up, but there is not much holding this headliner up. You got two little push-in clips here and a couple screws here on each side, and that appears to be all that holds this headliner in place. Try not to lose these. Alright, the radio. Unplug the radio right here. Get that out of the way. Then we got the cable coming in for this. I'm wiggling that so I can tell it's the right one. Now, cut it loose there. I don't know for sure if all this extra wire goes to that or not. Yeah. So I was afraid I was yanking on wires for other things, but this camera cable is like 30 foot long. So I'm just gonna leave all this slack hanging out here and get my camera where I want it and then come back and try to tuck all this up in here better. Okay, so now let's look at options for where to mount this. Now we know we have enough cable. So I guess there's two considerations when mounting this. Number one, what's going to give you the best view? Let me just take this loose so I can aim it. But the best view to me is going to be at the back, pointing kind of downward in the center. Okay, so it seems like the best view would be right here. I mean, an ideal spot would be where they put it, but then I would have to route the wire through the cab down here somewhere, maybe through that conduit there and then into the engine compartment, but I don't want to do all that. I want this to be, so if I put it right here, is there any way that this is going to be a hazard? So if I put this here and pull it up tight, maybe I put a little clip on here that holds this wire. Then after that, it's going to move with this. I don't see how that's going to cause any maintenance problems or accessibility problems. Whenever I move it like this, it's not really moving, it's not pulling on that cable at all. So I'm not going to have an issue with slack on the cable. I could literally put it right there. That looks like the best place, doesn't it? Because it sticks out further than that handle. Is it going to make it awkward to open and close that? Nope. I think I'm going to put it right there. Now the next thing is there anything behind this that prevents that? Remove this. It needs to be up just a little bit right there. And then it's going to be clear of everything. I'm going to mount it right here. So I just got to go grab a drill and we'll get this going. So no obstruction right there. Much improved view. Easy to clean the camera. Okay, so I just got to mark these holes here. Man, that seems like a big improvement. Now the only thing I've got to do is figure out a way to keep this from flopping around. Again, nothing should be hitting this because from here it's protected by this, you know, and nothing's ever hit this. But I'd like to secure it a little bit better, you know, and not just tape. Like if I could utilize one of these bolt holes to put a little strap there or something. There's really nothing else to tape it to or anything else, but I think it's going to give me a lot better visibility. Let's get a quick look inside the cab and see how it looks. Check the radio. Dark, but it's definitely on. After taking that for a drive, I feel like I was seeing a lot of sky, but not enough of the ground. And the number one most important thing, I mean, you don't want to run into anything behind you, and you want to, you know, be able to see in general, but the number one thing is you don't want to run over a person or a child or a dog or something behind you. So I aimed it down. I feel like that's still showing me quite a ways behind me, but I'm seeing the ground just a foot behind the machine. After actually driving around with it, I definitely feel like having it pointed down more is better. I'm seeing the ground. I could see this stick that's by my foot, which is about 1.5 feet behind. So I think that's about as good as I can get it. We're only, you know, 6 inches from where Deere puts their factory cam, so we'll run it this way, and it'll always be easy if I need to re-aim it. But I appreciate you taking time to watch the video. Put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.